You are listening to Uncensored Podcast.
I am Aisata Diallo.
I am Maimuna Jain.
I am Alieu.
Welcome.
Join us every 2 weeks
For deep reflections and chill conversations.
From our living room couches.
Uncensored.
Hello, people from Uncensored Land.
Hi, Alieu. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I missed recording this podcast.
We missed you too, boy. Hey, you know what, Nama? And I'm pretty sure everyone else that's out there listening, the flow over Nama Tamid.
But you guys, I like.
And you do.
No. But the UTG episode, if you're listening to this, we're re-recording that one. Because UTG, like, the last thing, my job until become a carnifin and everything. So I have to put all of those things and rant and do everything on this podcast.
UTG extended.
Yeah,
we need an extension of that episode.
Of that episode.
Because UTG, you could nag an entire year and say stuff the whole year.
Yeah, but you guys, if you've not listened to the last episode, you should listen to it. The one on where they talked about UTG. Actually, I was not here, but yeah, feels good to be back. How have you been, Alieu?
Alhamdulillah. I've been good, I think. I don't know.
Do you want to unpack what that I think means?
I really can't tell. It's been fluctuating. Not any certain trigger or whatsoever, but it's been fluctuating for me. I mean, as I am here, I am working on a 3 hours sleeping 48 hours, so it should be more than 48 hours now, some 50 something hours.
Guys,
but I'll be fine. I'm fine actually, so
the world is heavy as well. Everything that's going on around, everything that's happening around the world. I feel like we're all just back to what 2019 feels like. Because at some point, I don't know for everyone else or you, I kind of forgot that, literally everything that was happening throughout the year and how heavy this year was. But these past couple of weeks, especially with everything that's happening in Nigeria, everything that's happening in
Congo,
Guinea, everything that's happening in Congo, everything that's happening in Namibia, and all of these other African countries, it's quite tragic to know that we're dealing with these things, or where other young people in other countries are dealing with these things. And it's really just heavy seeing people dying on the internet, and it's been a heavy couple of weeks, and I don't know how I feel personally.
I know, because you go on the internet and you see really triggering images. You see people dying because they went out in the streets to ask for a decent life. Something that the people they're asking it from owe it to them. It's not like they're begging for this money here, money here, like you owe this to me, and then you just end up killing me for it. It's sad that all the time it keeps repeating over and over. It's not the first time, it's not the second time. This is how all of these things result to. You beat me up, I ask you not to beat me up again, and then you kill me.
Yeah. You do the exact thing that I'm holding a placard for outside on the streets.
Exactly.
You do the exact thing that I'm maybe putting up a billboard for on the streets or something. All they're asking for is just for you to not kill them. Like, they deserve to live. If there's anything, we have, all of us as human beings, we have our rights and everything. But if there's one thing that we all deserve is to live. And you don't have to beg anyone for that. You don't have to go and ask anyone to give you that aside from the Almighty, who's already giving that to those people. So all they ask is for these leaders to come to their aid. And it's sad how the African leaders generally and how Buhari handled the entire situation. It's quite tragic to know that.
And how he came out very unapologetic.
He didn't even talk about the Lekki Tollgate massacre.
Massacre. Bro, this guy came out threatening people. Come on. And you, Barrow, talk to your brother, man.
And this Barrow said, me, I think there's something wrong with him there.
I am wishing blah, 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 Donald and blah, 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 Trump.
Exactly, that's my problem. When it's Donald Trump, you have 240 characters to use. But if it's African leaders that are doing... And this is the man that...
You can't even tweet NSAS.
This is the man. Buhari is the man that came here when Yahya Jammeh said he was not going to leave the country. He came here to make sure you came into power. Not that he made sure, because Gambian people had already decided that. But he came to ensure that there was peace and all of these things. But that man is not ensuring that in his country. The man went silent the entire 2 weeks.
While his people died.
It's quite
In
sad,
broad,
but-
where his people were murdered in broad daylight. But you see, we're killing these people for sport.
Wait, I saw
How
the
do you-
video. The
where-
other guy was the army was chasing the guy.
Exactly. I saw that video.
Guy, and then he shot the other guy. And then I'm like, these are people that you're supposed to protect. You're not supposed to take their lives.
Exactly. And the fact that these people are literally running away, it shows how harmless they were. And then you chase after them only to kill them. And then after you kill them, your friend comes to high-five you like you've done a great job. Like, make it make sense. Like, how inhuman can that be?
It's quite tragic. Women in Namibia are fighting femicide as well. They're getting raped. They're getting killed. They're women and girls. The entire world is chaotic, especially the African continent. Guinea too, they're repeating the episode of the Gambia in their recently concluded elections. Alpha Conde, I'm sure he's not going to listen to this, but I hope he steps down as soon as possible. So
He needs to.
and I'm not sure they've
his people
announced the
deserve better.
results as well.
Well, he's probably
the last
he's
time
probably
I
has
checked-
his foot on the neck of the IEC or the Electoral Commission. So
This episode was not supposed to be heavy, but considering everything that's happening in the country, but
In the continent,
before
right.
we get into the episode for today or the topic for today, like power to Nigerian young people.
I swear,
To the youth of Nigeria.
Aluta continua.
Like they actually showed people what can be done. And the feminists on the TL, shout outs to you guys. Whew, I'm sure they're not going to listen to this as well.
Real bad at it.
But
Bad
power
asses.
to them. These people actually organized a whole movement, took care of medical bills,
Amazing
legal
people.
bills, all of these things, food, water, everything that has to do with the protest way in 2 weeks. And they're accounting for this money, something that the government takes 100 years to do. A helpline was set up in these 2 weeks that the government takes a whole century to do.
And they
then
clean
come
after
and do
themselves in the
lynching for
streets.
them. Whew. But shout outs to the feminists the Nigerian feminists on the timeline, and also the young people of
Shout outs to
Nigeria
them.
for what you've done. You've given all of us hope, even though they've not gotten what they really were asking for.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
The fight
hopefully
continues.
soon. And I hope that most of them actually get into politics as well, so they can change the system, because it shows how motivated they are to get things done and also change and do all of these things. So amazing job. We've not gotten to where you guys wanted to, but amazing job. And all the way from Gambia in Joe's studio right here, we're saying NSAS as soon as possible. So yeah,
And police brutality everywhere in the world.
continent. Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into our topic.
So we have exciting news. So if you've been listening for a while, if Munas was here, you would have had her voice, obviously. But
Unfortunately, Sis is not here. But shout outs to Muna. She got us a really amazing Ebe. Tell your Ebe plug that she's one of the best I've ever had. Joe is actually dancing right now because of the Ebe, because that Ebe is
amazing.
over 100 is 101. That Ebe is 101 over 100.
101 gang.
Yes, shout outs to 101 gang too.
But yeah, so jumping right into the episode for today. So we have exciting episodes coming up. We have a series on the podcast coming up. It's called Adulthood is a Scam. So we have five episodes on this series. So we'll run this series throughout to the end of this year. So everything that we'll be talking about on this podcast from this episode to the end of this year would be about adulthood and everything that has to do with that. So today, the episode is Adulthood is a Scam 101. So everything that we're not prepared for as young adults, getting into adulthood and everything that comes with it. So Alieu.
What's up? This topic scares me, sir.
But adulthood in general scares me. But let's just... Can you remember that one moment that actually reminded you, yo, like, I'm an adult?
Yo. Every day, there's a scene every day that reminds me, yo, you're an adult. Yo, you're an adult. But the most recent one, so I went to this birthday in my neighborhood. Yeah. So there's this woman in my neighborhood. Shout outs to Auntie Adam. So the mother one okay, I was some really calm kid in my neighborhood and cool. So mother one, hey, you must make me domo jigen, I'm going to That's what she's been saying. I was going to school
So
by
Ali,
then.
I'm not Jabar already. Yeah,
So-
and everyone else on the team.
Hey, don't spoil my market. No.
Ali, no, I'm Jabar.
I'm Jabar.
They contact her boom.
So I made domo jigen, you like me. And then luckily, mo am domo jigen. Goro la made oily, so she doesn't call me by my name anymore. So
This looks like it's
so
Go ahead.
so this kid Hollywood mujina mo mag ambraka. But I remember this scenario of her telling me that so my don't again you like me like it was just 2 years ago. And funnily Raki Halebi is come Raki kuñ ma wara may celebrated 6 years old. So kuñ ma wara may is like 9. I'm like, yo, man magladi. Cause 9 years ago it's been 9 years since Adam told me Smame Dom. And I was, and time my phone magla already. So if I felt like I was an adult by then, and it's already 9 years since that happened, I am a grown ass adult now. I went home the entire day and I started reflecting. So it's been 9 years of what?
Of people telling you that you're an adult. Of you knowing that you're an
Adult, exactly. And sometimes forgetting that I am one.
Yeah, I feel like we all have those moments. But I think the moment for me was a couple of years ago when I actually, when I was ill. So, and usually when I get sick, obviously as a child, your mother or your father takes you to the hospital. And that time, I was sick. And then, so I told my dad that I was sick and I wanted to go to the hospital. So I said that in hopes that when he gives me money to go to the hospital or when he says whatever, my mom is there to go to the hospital with me. So I came with the money and I was like, I told my mom, I'm sick and we have to go to the hospital. My mom was like, you don't know the way to the hospital. Like, legit, that day I didn't go because I was like, that hit me. I'm like, I am an adult now. I have to, carry myself from the house and then go all the way to the hospital by myself. I have to go and speak to the nurses and the doctors and tell them what is wrong with me. That was my adulthood moment.
That too. I've had a scenario like that too. So my parents have always been taking me to the hospital. My mom especially. My mom has always been taking me to the hospital. And then when my sister became a nurse, she took over and then she was taking me to the hospital. Even all the way to high school, after high school too. So one time I was sick and then she's like, so access to Lopitan, make no call me. So I went all the way to the hospital and then she's like, so anyway, that fee. I didn't get them see consultation room. Like I used to be sick. I didn't even tell was my consultation room. My mom used to say everything kilo kajat. So and I sat in the consultation room and I had to say man lan mama jad man mismo. I'm like, yo, this is life, right?
Yeah, that's an adulthood moment for you right there. But yeah, I feel like when there's no like smooth, there's no like transition.
And buying clothes for myself too. I still find that hard.
Yeah, like literally, it's understanding that at this point of your life, like right now, at this point of our lives, we have to do everything for ourselves.
Everything.
Like the only thing that you'd have to ask from your parents is maybe if you need their advice on something or whatever, or maybe you're getting into something and you need their blessings. But aside that, everything else you have to do by yourself. And me, I don't like that.
Who likes that?
The idea of that, like I get legit scared when people come to my house and my mom is not around and I have to actually go and entertain them, and I'm like, so this is what it like. If I was a child, it would just be normal and like they'll come and say hi to me and do whatever. But now I actually have to entertain them, start conversations and talk to them. I'm like, no, I don't like anything around adulthood, to be honest.
For that part, I haven't got to that part yet. Well, if you came to look for my mom is not around, bro.
You know, funny story. When I was a child, when people came to the house, and then because usually my mom would sleep during the day to rest, and then so when people came to the house and they were looking for my mom, so when they asked me, "Oh, where's your mom?" I just go and wake her up. So one day she beat me so bad. So I just went and then I woke her up. She left my backhand ass this morning. Since when people come to the house and ask, "Oh, where's your mom?" and she's sleeping, I'm like, "No, ma'am, I'm getting it out." Like, I'm not going to wake her up. So let's get into the the big things around adulthood, because there are a lot of pros and cons around being an adult in the Gambia, being a young adult in the Gambia. And this comes with finding your passions, finding what works for you, obviously, and all of these things. If you found your passions or things that you work on that you enjoy doing, how did that come about for you, and how is it working?
So yeah, I think on our last episode, I spoke on how I had to juggle through things, and from studying this to studying that, because I was trying to find what was actually for me, like where I found peace and what I think I loved doing. And I've juggled through civil engineering to journalism. Yeah, I almost started photography too.
Yeah,
And
I remember those days.
Bro, I used to do an entire hashtag my eye Mondays on Facebook. You could still go on, you could still go back and on, you could still go on Facebook and do a hashtag my eye Mondays, and you'll see amazing photos I used to take with my iPhone 5 those days. I used to be amazing.
Yeah, you were. Before you continue to answer the question, if you're listening to this podcast all the way to this point, please pause, right? And go on Twitter and at Alieu. He's at Alvin Alieu, right?
Yeah.
At Alvin Alieu.
ARL.
And ask him when he's starting his blog. Please, I need everyone to pressure Alieu so he starts this blog. Like, before we started recording this episode, I was actually reading some of the stuff that he wrote on his laptop. And I want every single person, like, if you get to this point, I don't even listen to the rest of the things that I'm going to say there. Just pause at this point. I'll go on Twitter and at Alieu, at Alvin Alieu, and ask him, just like at Alvin Alieu, when are you starting that blog? I've offered my services to help him build a blog, so please, I need all of the pressure. He owes me documents from two years ago, so I cannot be the one pressuring Ali. He wouldn't listen. So I want all of you to do it. Please help me. He needs
I promise
to.
I'll
Needs
listen.
To bless us.
I'll listen.
Okay, so you can go back to answering your question. Thank you very much for doing that. I know you guys, you've paused and you've tweeted that and everything. So come back to the episode.
So yeah, I had to juggle through and the photography. So this was, I think I never found myself. I had so many voices in my head from friends and relatives and people that cared, basically. And if you know me, you'd know I listen a lot. I definitely listen. I listen more than I talk, and I am a huge talkative, so you'd understand how much I listen to people. And it took me time. I had to go to school. I think I'm quitting school 2 times now.
Wait, you're officially not going back to UTG?
Nah, I doubt it. If I ever get a degree at UTG, it's just for the sake of getting a degree. Oh, he has a degree. But it's not something that I'll ever use in my life. I doubt it.
Okay.
But yeah, so I had to quit school twice. So I realized that every time I listen to a song, scenarios keep running in my head. Scenarios keep running to my head all the time. And I discovered this like 3 or 4 years, 2016. Yeah, I discovered this in 2016. So I didn't even know there was anything like screenplay writing ever in my life, like by then. But I discovered, every time I listen to songs, something else, there's these scenarios that keep coming to my head. As this is how they should shoot the videos. And sometimes the videos come out, I'm like, I don't think this is how they should have shot it. The song talks about this, I think this, a particular scenario like this should have been better. And sometimes I just sit down and I am visualizing an entire short film about something that's related to society and our problems. And I'm like, I should write this. So that's how my spoken word writing came about too, anyways. But it's nothing I ever took serious, because I didn't think it's something that I should do or I could do. But it was, how do you call this word? Where's the right word for it? It was like when you have something like a genta or something. When stuff keep appearing to you over and over again. So yeah, these things keep happening. So I had to go to UTG, quit UTG. But then eventually I started realizing I am having these scenarios a whole lot of time if I'm listening to songs, and I'm having ideas about writing short films. Anyway, I think I have like 4 drafts now for short films. And I have written over.
I hope my film is part
there.
of that.
It's part of that. I swear your film is part of that. You have a film over there. That film would take us to winning an Oscar. I'm not even joking. And I actually have a song. I actually have a song that I am going to play when I win an Oscar. I promise you this.
That's progress. You had it here first, you guys. Uncensored. Alieu Oscar.
We got the play. So guys, come to my share. We would come when people ask me for song recommendations. I
Share.
I have certain things that are too personal for me. Like, hey. So yeah. Where was I again? So I've juggled through a whole lot of stuff eventually, and I am one person that used to think, oh, I don't think I need someone to guide me through this. Let me just tell me, oh, you go and try this, and then I'll try it out. I don't want you to guide me through it because I want to feel like I started this from scratch and I grew it up. That's the mentality I grew up on, anyways. But I've changed it totally. I mean, I welcome every sort of help and anything that's and guidance too. So I started taking my screenplay writing not serious. I started writing down the things I had in my head, and I started telling people about them, and everyone was just amazed. Oh wow, for no holiday, blah blah blah. And I keep doing this over and over and over and over. I'm like, yo, I think it's high time I just try one out, and that one failed anyway. It never came to light. So one time it was around 10 at night, and then Gando called me and he's like, boy, are you really into this screenplay writing that you keep talking about? I'm like, yeah, I think I am. I think I am. He's like, I have this music video I want to shoot tomorrow morning, and I need a script for it. Like, this was around 10 in the night. I'm like, oh, okay, then no worries, send me the song. He sent me the song, and I had to write him a script. So I had to listen to the song that night and come up with a concept and write it down and send it to him by the next morning. I'm like, yo, this is the first time I'm doing this, and I have to do this like right now. Like, it takes people sometimes weeks or a month trying to come up with a concept or something. And I did this overnight, and the video came out. It's Jizzle's In Case, by the way, Just In Case by Jizzle. You could go and watch it. If you have not, it's my first ever work that came out, and it's not the best of things I have though anyways. I could do a million times better than what I did there. But it just
growth happens.
Yeah, growth happens. And it came, and I wrote that, and everyone loved it. It's not my favorite of work anyways, but everyone loved it, and everyone was just calling me, boy, Ibinali, how did you do this, blah, 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 this is amazing. I'm like, oh, wow. This feels good, you know. And it feels way better than going to school and studying something and coming back with great grades, like coming back with first position or scoring an A in mass communications. Astaghfirullah, that nigga gave me F. But
What?
Yeah, my mass comm lecturer gave me an F. Or scoring an A in IR and scoring a B in psychology. It's a long story. That lecturer, well, we've had clashes a few times. Yeah. Because he was saying pretty dumb stuff that I wasn't letting him spread that kind of nonsense in the class. Not for me, but for anyone else that was going to take to their homes nonsense and feed their younger ones. Like, I can't let stuff like that happen, not under my watch. So yeah, what was I saying? Like, those praises felt way better than scoring an A in all of these stuff. I was still going to uni by then, and sometimes I wasn't studying. I realized I wasn't studying. I was on the internet and I was doing research and more of this screenplay writing. And then I realized, oh, people actually offer this in universities. Why don't I go in and study this? Until recently, like a week ago, that's when I started applying for schools to go and study screenplay writing. Well, whether I have the schools or not, I think this is what I really want to do with my life. And yeah, I think I'm going to take it serious and start a career out of it. God guide me. And if you're listening to this podcast, please pray for me that it goes well. And yeah, I think I am at the last or second to last scene of my first ever film that I am writing. And well, I wanted it to be shot by December. I hope that goes well. If not too, let's see what happens.
I read the draft script and it's amazing. Like,
thank you.
I'll give you that. It's amazing. I read it at work one morning and I couldn't get off the script. I remember I texted you immediately after I read the script. It's amazing. So I can't wait to see that come to
You said
life.
the nicest of things.
Thank you.
Sound.
Sometimes. But I'm glad and I'm happy that you found something that you're really, really passionate about. Personally, for me, I think I'm still on that journey. I'm still figuring out myself. And just like you, and I feel like a lot of Gambian young people, Tamit, can relate to that, is how it takes time for us to discover ourselves because you grow up as...
Oh, I forgot one too. I almost got into interior designing as well. I mean, I started reading courses online and stuff like that.
You know, you can do a lot of hustles at the same time,
I
right?
know, but
Also,
yeah.
if you do screenplay, not that I'm saying you should do all of these
I
things.
could do
at the same
screenplay
time.
and interior
Yeah, you
designing
can
and all of that.
You can do
I could
them
do
on
all
the
of
side.
these other things, but I was trying to find myself on what I really wanted, and I realized it was not anything that anyone was telling me. It was something that this voice kept screaming the entire time inside of me, and I never paid attention until now.
And I'm glad that you listened to it, to be honest, because I feel like for a lot of young people in the country, once you're growing up, we said that when we were doing our episode on childhood, where there's already a fixed career that your parents or your relatives already have for you. Personally, I did environmental science in uni. Betty, my mom will ask me, when will you use your degree? Because I work on a totally different area. I do communications for all the other works that I've done before. I do photography on the side and all of these things that come into it. So there's nothing that comes into my career or my growth as a person at this point that fits into environmental science, but I still did that in uni. So I feel like a chunk or a big part of adulting or a big part of adulthood is finding yourself and understanding what works for you, and for that there's no one that can give that to you, to be honest. You have to sit with yourself and understand what you're passionate about and build on that, because sometimes you can discover things that you're passionate about or things that work for you, but if you don't work on them as well, it wouldn't materialize, because you can just know, oh, I am passionate, or I like maybe writing scripts, but if you don't work on it, that's just a fantasy you have in your head. If you don't work on it, you'd never,
I promise,
enjoy it. And I feel like one other thing that I want people to note is understanding that your passions fluctuate as well. So today you might be interested in this, and tomorrow you discover that you're not interested in that. There's something else, and it's nothing bad, and it's never too late to switch the gears. To be honest, if this is not working for you, or if you get to a certain career, or if you get to a certain field in uni, and you feel that it's not for you, like that's one of my biggest regrets, because I could have switched when I was in university, in my second year. I could have easily switched from environmental science to do journalism and digital media, which is more of what I am doing right now. But I was scared to do it because I was not sure. Again, like I said, I'm still on that journey of discovering myself and understanding what I am passionate about. But if there's anything, I know I enjoy telling stories in whatever form it comes, whether it's through writing, whether it's through pictures, whether it's through films. I know I enjoy doing that, and whether it's in the corporate world as well, whether it's in my personal projects and all of those things, I know I enjoy doing that. And so I feel like if you're a young adult out there, it's important that you sit with yourself. It's important that you drown out all of this noise that is coming outside, all of what your parents are telling you to do, everything your peers are doing or are telling you to do, drown all of that out and sit with yourself and understand what really works for you or what you enjoy doing, and get on to that.
Great.
Yeah, so again, we don't want this episode to be very heavy or to,
No, it's not going to be. It's
so
not going to be.
we'll just
There's so much fun that comes with young adulthood.
Yeah, adulthood is fun, to be honest. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, so
It's just energy draining.
So I've not been working, but I've not had an 8 to 5 for over a month now. So I don't have to wake up early in the morning. Actually, I still do, because I think it's worse now, because once it's 7 a.m. I can't go back to sleep.
Yo, my alarm today, my alarms this morning had 2 minute intervals. Like 2 minute intervals.
Yeah, I do that too.
Like 6:40, 6:42, 6:44, 6:46. Bro,
Adulthood is a scam, to be honest.
I went to bed at 3. I had to wake up at 6. Imagine. Wow. And before that, I had an entire 24 hours Nelo Moko, like an entire day Nelo Moko. And after that, because what happened? I was supposed to write something. So I stayed up night. I'm a night person.
Yeah, I am a night person. But I don't joke with my sleep as well. So 8 hours if I'm
Bro, I hope Gaima is not listening to this, because she's advised me numerous of times, boy.
But as a creative as well, it's important to sleep.
Yeah, it's very important to sleep.
With thinking and all of that stuff, it helps. You should sleep a lot.
The thing is, I can sleep at like 7. Sometimes I sleep at 7 in the morning, but I don't know.
You what?
Sometimes I sleep at 7 in the morning. I promise you, 7, like 7 a.m. or even 8. But there's this thing. My mom thinks that it is haram to sleep ben 9 sir. So you sleep at 7 mu ñëw eela yow yaa ngi nelaw ben tey nee man xam la man léegi laa ci da waaye déedéet naaj bi gën na def ma dara let me sleep. It's not like I'm going anywhere. So I can't sleep comfortably. She keeps waking me up, and I've explained a couple of times, like blah blah blah. But every time I explain, I don't know. She feels like she's heartbroken every time she sees me sleeping. Let me sleep.
My dad thinks anyone that sleeps during the day or in the morning, like past 8 a.m., you're useless.
Bam.
Like really, you're useless. You can't sleep at that time in my house. No. Legi sa mungi chill, but time windan mak boy. They'll come knocking at your doors like you have to wake up at that time. Like you can't sleep. But yeah, so jumping right into what we're actually supposed to discuss on this podcast, on this episode, Alieu. So for this episode, which is Adulthood is a Scam 101, which is everything that we were not prepared for as young adults in the Gambia. What do you feel we're not prepared for? Like, I think the first one that comes into my head is work. Like really, because if you think about it, I was watching a video the other day, and then the person was talking about how, you know, when we go to school, right? You wake up in the morning, you go to school, and then you get off school, you come back home, but you still have long holidays.
Long ass
right?
holidays.
So after first time, I'm holiday. After second time, I'm holiday. After third time, I'm holiday. But when you start working, it's like work straight. There's no, unless like you have, I think 28 days or something leave in a year or something, whatever. Or when you're sick, you can get off work and all of that. But nobody, like, it's like once you get into this part of your life, there's no going back.
Exactly, and there's always overtime.
You're always working overtime. And then, like, every single time I wake up early in the morning, and I'm supposed to resume working again, waking up early in the morning next week, and it's like, I'm actually thinking about it. Because waking up in the morning, I've gotten used to not having to wake up in the morning, just working. And I feel like that's one of the things 2020 has done for people as well. It has helped people realize that you don't have to be in the physical office to work. Like Zoom meetings are working, you can work remotely, and then everyone is doing their task.
I promise you.
Can we continue that attitude? I don't have to come to the office, I don't have to report and clock in and all of those things. So I feel like they did not really prepare us for work, to be honest.
No one did. And the other thing that they did not prepare us for was finances. I swear, I would never tell my child Bal Buga Halis. Bro.
You know, I think the one thing about finances that keeps ringing in my head from childhood is how adults constantly remind children that you hamlo
halis
bahut wala ut halis yombut. So they did not even tell us like, yo, working is hard, is like this, is like da 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 da.
But getting the money is cool and all of that. They never taught us
so we
that.
only know about and then managing your finances, making sure you're not overspending, making sure, and banks and all of these things. GT Bank is moving mad here. EcoBank is doing their thing on the other side.
EcoBank is moving crazier than GT Bank is actually. Oh, and people are always saying, don't do it for the money, do it because you love it. Please, if you're listening to this episode and you're getting into adulthood, please don't listen to any rubbish that someone says, don't do it for the money.
Get the bag.
Bro, get the bag. Do it for the money. Hey.
You know, when I just started working, or when I just started making money as a young adult, most of the times if they give me money, sir, I'm like, get out. Like, I'm just doing it for the love that I have for it and all of these things. But now when you tell me to do stuff for you, the first thing I ask is, how much are you paying me?
Yep.
Because you have all of these other things that are coming, which takes me to the next thing that we're not prepared for is expectations.
Yeah.
As young adults, there's so much expectations from your family. There's so much expectations from society generally. Because everyone that looks at you, as they're looking at you with the eyes of legi maknga. Like, you can't do rubbish, there's so much expected of you, and it's draining, to be honest. It's really
draining. Okay, listen. What was that we were talking about, sir? Expectations is one, and then the money. So my niece, I'm not being able to money. My them school, my lunch, and I'm like, yo, kila mo tong my lunch out of everyone here in the house. And I remembered, oh, I used to ask my brother too. Oh, I used to ask my sister too. Oh, I am their age now.
There was another adulthood moment.
Yeah. Oh, I am their age now. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, and there's so much expectations of, oh, magna legi, what Lord definitely, or how you forget to lock the gate when you come in, and they think, halala, bro, you do that, my mom will wake you up at 5 a.m. ask you, magmutoni yola mutanga fate tejbundi kerbi. Like there's so much of
The
these expectations of how much you're supposed to do the right thing every time, and there's everyone watching to see whether you're doing the right thing every time.
Also, I feel like it explains how when we were growing up as well, most of us looked at our parents or our brothers and our older siblings as demigods, like they're not supposed to make mistakes. And now we're in their shoes and
exactly.
You're screaming to the world like, I am not perfect. I am just an adult. I am not perfect. It's quite tragic, to be honest. I think the next thing that we were not prepared for is navigating, or which is a topic that we're going to tackle in this series, obviously, is navigating relationships. Because when you get, as an adult, you get to a point where you have to understand that as you're transitioning into this part of your life, there are going to be people that would fall out, and you'd make new friends, and all of these things are going to come along, and just dealing with that in itself is like that for me. I feel like that takes up like 50% of your adult life, just trying to manage your friends your
and people, who's not your friend,
people you know, and it's quite draining. And
so
go ahead.
I've had this friend from primary one. Yeah, we've been friends, and I don't know if we're falling out, but I think she's taking things so personal that I don't call and I don't check up on her. I don't come to her house anymore. Bro, you're not doing the same thing too. You're not calling me, you're not checking up on me, you're not coming to my house anymore either. And I swear it's the same thing for me like it always was. I understand that we have grown and adulthood happens. And I have a job, you have a job. We've met other people too in our lives. So in as much as we want it to be, it can't be the same as it was, because we don't have the same time to invest into it like we did. The emotions might be there, but I think you don't have people that understand these things. And fallouts happen all the time, for different reasons. We grow up and our priorities change. What used to be a main priority for the both of us, we grow up and then one of us doesn't have the same priority anymore. So it changes. If we're not strong enough or if we're not mature enough to understand these things, would eventually fall out. And well, I don't know. I think I've fallen out with a whole lot of people. probably because I am a bad person and I suck at communications and trying to keep people to be my friends.
Retweet.
Yeah,
I'm retweeting that.
I promise you, if you call me, I'm not going to pick up. If you text me, I'm not going to reply. But if you ever pop up in my life at one point, or if I mistakenly pick your call or mistakenly reply to your message, it's the same energy, it's the same love. And I could keep a conversation going on for years like nothing ever happened. But yeah, I am dead as bad at socializing. In as much as people think I am good at it, but I suck at it. I
actually looked up to Alieu about this.
That's just... I don't know.
You do it so easily, and it looks like it's not a problem for you, but it's good that you're talking about it. And it is for a lot of other people. I mean, you see people and then you think they're handling that part of their lives
very well,
but it's like it's heavy. Me, mom, you see me, it's a mess. People call me AJ in the streets, and I'm saying "Mangi cool" because I don't even know what to say to you. So it's quite tragic. But again, coming back to fallouts and all of these things, I feel like another thing about relationships as a young adult is connecting it back to the thing that we talked about, passions and navigating your interests as a young adult, is understanding that when you get to these circles, you find new people in the different interest areas that you find. So it's easy to build networks, but then again, it's understanding that when you're building these networks, there's a possibility that the networks or the people that you know from the other ends might fall out. And that's perfectly fine as well. Not everyone that is in your life is meant to be there forever. Like the famous saying goes, some of them are just there for seasons. But another thing for me regarding communication and all of that is, as a child growing up, I believed as a great texter. Like I can be on the phone from morning till evening texting people, and it wouldn't be a problem because I had the time.
I could still text from I could still text blindfolded.
Notifications annoy me now so much.
Okay, notifications give me anxiety.
Same, because I just a couple of days ago, actually, because there's this person I've been talking to for a couple of days now, and then it's like every time I see the message pop up, I'm like, why are you texting? Like the thing that I replied is like was supposed to end the conversation. Why are you texting me again? Why are you replying to that message again? And then I used to be like the person that would say, don't call me, text me. Because if you call me, I wouldn't pick the call. So don't call me, text me. But now I just want to tell people, like, please don't contact me unless you're giving me money and all of it. I'm not saying this to sound mean or whatever, but it's just the point of where I am at my life. Like when I see WhatsApp notifications, when I see Twitter DMs and all of these things, like I get so much anxiety, and then it gets to points where I don't reply to people's messages for a couple of days, and then when you do these things, David, it comes back to expectations. People are feel like you maybe you feel like you're known or
and
all of these things. It's not that. Like people have things that are going on. I've not like had like a major job for like over a month lately, but it's not like I'm not like I've been so busy. I'm like, because I thought once this chunk gets out of my life, I'm like, I have this period to rest and sleep and do all of these things. And it's like this period I've been so busy. I'm like, how was I doing all of these things at the same time? And it's quite adulthood is a scam again.
It's the biggest one of them all. Coming back to how notifications give me anxiety, bro, I have like 500 chats sitting on my WhatsApp, and I promise you, I'm not intentionally trying to ignore anyone. I every day I want to come and just do a read all thing, and I feel like, oh, maybe there's an important message for me there. So one day I'll just take my time and go through these messages, each and every one of them, and see one that I can reply or see what is in there for me that I'm missing. And for a year now, I have not even tried to open one to see. And the thing is, what happens is, this person sent me a message, and I'm like, oh, kina ko reply sa kanang I don't think I can. I'm not in the zone to reply to this person now. And before I know it, it's 6 days or 7 days later, and I haven't replied. And I'm like, oh, it would be rude to reply now. And it keeps happening with every other passing. I have one time I needed a favor from someone. So I went to open their chat, and I realized, oh, last year my wish you happy birthday, pariman reply makodi. I'm like, wow, how do I now send a message and I can't come and say thank you to something you wished me a year ago? Damn, how do I do this? I just had to go out and then call the person.
Yeah.
But it happens all the time. And when someone calls me, bro, I'm this kind of person. So my phone rings, I look at the phone, I'm like, La ilaha illallah, buma call, I just pick up the phone. Boy, aiba, that's legit me. I am as fake as that. And no, I don't do that. I don't do that to your calls, Joe. You don't even call me. So never mind. I'll be the one calling you, and you're always ignoring my calls. But God is good.
Also, just to share Joe on this podcast, we've not released an episode in over how many weeks? In over 3 weeks, how many? It's all Joe's fault, you guys. Please, when you're adding Alieu to do the blog, add Joe as well. J Life Music on Twitter, on Facebook, they're everywhere. Add him and tell him to try at least be consistent with our episodes. Yeah.
And yeah, he's building.
An amazing guy.
He's building the A team. He's building the A team. So yeah, he brought us an AC. Son, standards. You don't ever go to maybe it happens other places, but all people are not privileged enough like Joe to sit an entire day in an AC.
Yeah, a hitty October week.
Must be nice. Joe, have you seen outside?
The heat.
But yeah, going back to adulthood, this is a scam. They didn't prepare us for October. Legend. No one prepared us for October.
Nobody prepared.
Y'all never told us October was this hot. Y'all didn't tell us that we would be sweating.
Also,
immediately the last drop.
Immediately
the last drop of water from the shower hit your skin, you'd be sweating from that moment. And how? by the way, happy birthday to Left.
Yeah, we're recording on
Bro,
Left's birthday.
bro, I have so much respect and admiration for you. Like, I swear I do. I wish you all the best in life. Yo, am so I am. But bro, why were you born in October? This month is as crap as it can be. You're the only thing that happened, the only good thing that happened in this month, and perhaps Mariam sees it. But
I was going to wait bang up for it. But yeah, Hadi Jonga and Abdullah Baji were born in October as
bro, yeah, Hadi
I don't
Jonga
know
and
why all these amazing people were born in this.
in such
but
a
I think that is a relevant point to end this podcast on. Like, we were not prepared for October, this heat. Because I don't remember experiencing this, but global warming is happening as well. That too.
It is.
Fat Jeng, shout out to you by the way. Global warming is out here.
Oh yeah, by the way, I read something that I wrote about you that I never showed you.
That is why I said at least you should start this blog, please. But yeah, so October. What else do we not prepared for? Maybe we should say last thing and then end.
We're not prepared for UTG.
For uni.
For uni. We were not prepared for battle. You know, we really were not prepared for battle. Because growing up, we thought leaders were amazing people. Were this superhero character from a movie that came and saved the entire country from whatever calamities that they're facing. But ever since Barrow stepped into office, I don't think there is one single thing that he has saved us from. He didn't save us from Yajame. We saved ourselves from Yajame anyway. But there's no single thing that Barrow has saved us from. And I don't think he's ever going to...
Barrow brought you democracy.
No, what? We got that ourselves.
That's not from me.
Barrow is not even giving people democracy. He's trying to snatch that away from people as much as people can advise. Go and advise your brother to stop killing the people that he's killing in broad daylight.
Advising himself first.
God, we're praying for better. Please.
But yeah, elections are coming next year. Episodes in next year, not fun there.
Hey, when I have to roast every one of these politicians.
But yeah. So if you've listened to this point, I would like to say thank you very much for keeping it 100 and for listening to this point of the podcast. We truly appreciate everyone that supports Uncensored Podcast. We know we were bragging about being consistent and beating procrastination.
But adulthood happens.
But adulthood is happening to all three of us right now, so things are getting a little messy. But we promise to be on here to give you episodes as soon as we can get into the studio and record. And so thank you very much for listening to this point, Alieu. Do we have episode question?
Yeah, tweet to us what it is that you were not prepared for.
Yeah. Tell us one thing you were not prepared for. If you're a young adult out there, tell us one thing that you were not prepared for.
Even if you're an adult, just one thing.
Yeah.
Just one thing that you were not prepared for. So we are signing out. We love you people.
Yeah, catch us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, and YouTube on Censored GMB. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram as well. So engage with us on there. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Also, leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcast so we can get off the charts, so people can discover us easily. Let's get Gambia out there to the world, like everyone says, Gambia to the world, right?
You Tafi, you know. I'm not saying that.
On that note, thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
I hope Taf listens to this.